You've seen the ads, right? The promise of financial freedom, making a living from your laptop, maybe by a pool somewhere. The dream of trading is, well, it's powerful. But behind that shiny dream is a much, much harsher reality, one that most people never get to see. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain on the retail trading world to really understand a shocking number and the system that's built around it.
90%. Just let that sink in for a second. That's the number you hear all the time for how many retail traders lose their money. It's not a coin flip, it's not 60-40, it's almost everyone. So the big question we're tackling in this explainer is why? How does this happen over and over again, and what's really going on behind the scenes?
You know, this problem is so common, it actually has a name in the industry, the 90-90-90 phenomenon. And what it says is that 90% of new traders lose 90% of their money in the first 90 days. So this isn't some slow leak, it's a total blowout, and it happens fast. To figure out why, we have to start with the one company every single trader has to deal with. And that company, of course, is your broker. Now, according to the source material for this explainer, if you take a really close look at how they make money, you start to see these powerful built-in conflicts of interest that are allegedly working directly against you, the client.
So it really comes down to this simple question. Is your broker your partner in this? Are they there to help you succeed? You'd hope so, right? But the argument laid out in our source material is that the answer is a hard no. Let's dig into why.
Okay, so brokers have a few ways of making money. The first two are the obvious ones. They take a commission or a spread on your trades, and they charge you interest on any leverage, borrowed money they give you. The more you trade, the more they make. Simple enough. But according to the source, it's the third one that's the real bombshell. It's called OTC, or over-the-counter gain. See, in this model, you're not actually trading on a real exchange. You're basically betting directly against your broker. When you lose $1, they make $1. Their success is literally directly tied to your failure.
And this quote from the source really just sums it all up. The argument is that this isn't a neutral platform for you to trade on. It's an infrastructure that has allegedly been designed for wealth transfer. The broker is incentivized for you to trade a lot, use a lot of leverage, and, most importantly, for you to lose.
But okay, this brings up a pretty obvious problem for the broker, right? If 90% of your customers lose all their money and quit within 3 months, how on earth does your business survive? Well, it needs a constant, fresh supply of new clients. So how do they build that pipeline?
Well, here's the key mechanism that's described. It's something called an introducing broker agreement, or an IB agreement. This is where a trading educator, or guru, you've seen them online, signs a contract with a broker. And for every new customer they bring in, that educator gets a kickback. And that kickback is often a percentage of the trading fees, and sometimes, allegedly, even a piece of the client's losses.
Think about what this really means. The educator, the person you trust to teach you how to win, now has the exact same financial incentives as the broker. They are financially motivated for you to trade often, trade with a lot of risk, and, at the end of the day, to lose your money. They basically become a salesperson for the house.
So, this partnership between the broker and the educator gives birth to what our source calls the inversion narrative. It's basically a collection of stories and myths that are designed to encourage behavior that's profitable for them by telling you to do the exact opposite of what professional traders actually do.
And just look at some of these myths. Every single one pushes you to trade more. Day trading works. Well, that guarantees you're trading every day. Exit all your positions daily? That's at least 2 trades a day, right there. Make a consistent monthly income? That pushes you to constantly hunt for trades. And it's all wrapped up in this flashy lifestyle marketing. The supercars, the mansions, to sell you the dream and distract you from what's really going on.
And the source argues that this whole narrative is so powerful because it taps into real financial desperation. People are looking for a way out, for a solution, and this combination of a hopeful story and a totally hidden conflict of interest, well, it just creates the perfect storm for people to lose money.
Okay, so if that's the playbook for losing, then what does the winning playbook look like? Well, the source makes a really sharp contrast between what it calls dumb money, which is the retail traders who follow this narrative, and smart money, which are the institutional professionals.
And I mean, when you put them side by side, it is just night and day. Professionals think like portfolio managers. They spread their risk across 10, 20, even more positions. Their number one goal is just to preserve their capital, to get rich slowly. The retail approach is the complete opposite. A few concentrated bets, super short time frames, and the goal of hitting a home run and getting rich fast. It's like they're playing 2 completely different games.
And at the end of the day, the source concludes that being smart money isn't just about having a bigger bank account. It's about understanding the game itself, the infrastructure. Because the pros know how the system is set up, they deliberately do everything the exact opposite way the retail story tells them to.
So, does this professional approach actually work? Well, the source points to this fascinating piece of data from Goldman Sachs' own public filings. In 2015, their trading desk had 212 winning days and only 38 losing days. That is an almost 90% daily win rate. It's a perfect mirror image of the 90% loss rate for retail traders.
So the big takeaway from all this isn't that winning is impossible, it's that to even have a chance, a retail trader has to consciously throw out that inversion narrative they're being sold, and instead, they have to copy the portfolio-based, risk-managed, long-term approach that the professionals use.
So we've unpacked the alleged conflicts of interests, we've looked at the marketing stories that feed new people into that system, and we've seen the massive difference between how the pros operate and how retail traders are taught to operate. The source has laid out a pretty compelling playbook for an industry it claims is designed for you to fail. So the question that leaves us with is, knowing all of this, how does it change your perspective on the game?